What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today we need to talk about Belo Betty. I've been wanting to talk about Belo Betty. I have, as I'm sure all of you guys watching do, I have my list of leaders that I am desperate to finally see them become amazing. Nefertari Vivi from OP04 is a leader that I adore and I want to be amazing. Perona from OP06, which I know has had their moments here and there, is one that I have absolutely loved playing around with and I hope becomes amazing. But one of the cards I most wanted to be good in the entire game is Belo Betty. I have been desperate for Belo Betty to become good, and you know what? I'm seeing it pop up. I've seen more than one winning list from store championships and all sorts in Japan over the past couple of weeks. And I'm telling you, it might not be the best deck in the format, but it's just out and out winning 32-player tournaments, which are generally what you see for these store championships in Japan. And I'm telling you, this might actually finally be the time when Belo Betty becomes legit. So what have we got from the leader then? Well, we've got a red-yellow Revolutionary Army leader, 5,000 power for life, and activate main once per turn, trash a Revolutionary Army card from your hand. Up to 3 of your Revolutionary Army characters or characters with trigger gain 3k power during this turn. It's a 9k boost, which is absurd. 9k boost is huge, so we really need to go tribal with this. Far more so, I think, than most decks. We want to go tribal here, and we want to go full Revolutionary Army so that we can actually build this up nicely. Cool. So, essential to the deck, the 1-cost Belo Betty from OP05. 1-cost, 2,000 power, counter plus 1,000, and it is your generic Revolutionary Army searcher. On play, you get to look at the top 5 cards of your deck, find a Revolutionary Army card other than Belo Betty, and add it to your hand. You know the deal, ladies and gentlemen. We play these in basically every deck because they are very, very, very good cards. We also then need to be playing, in terms of cheaper cards, our 2-cost Koala. 2-cost Koala, very important, also from OP05. 2-cost, 3,000 power, counter plus 2k. And on play, if your leader has a Revolutionary Army type, which we know it will, give one of your opponent's characters minus 3k during this turn. So you've got counter plus 2k, we are lowering power. This all seems to work rather nicely indeed. Now, in terms of free costs, we've got a bunch here, including Inazuma. Now, this is also the one from OP05 here, and we got free cost 4,000 power. If you have a character with 7,000 power or more other than this character gains Rush. But of course, you're Belo Betty. So you can boost one of your other characters to 7k pretty easily, while also boosting this to 7k and giving it Rush, so you've got a character with 7k and Rush running around, which is obviously absurdly good. Now we are going dual colour here, so we've got ourselves the yellow Karasu from OP09. You're going to see a lot of cards from the same sets here, because of course we're going tribal Revolutionary Army. And we've got free cost, 4,000 power, counter plus 1,000 blocker. But if your leader is Revolutionary Army, and the total of yours and your opponent's life is 5 or less, play this card as a trigger. So we've got a really nice trigger here which lets you play this card for free, which is clearly a good thing. And yeah, remember, the power on these characters, your 4,000 power isn't great, but all of these need to be taken in the context of, oh, well, hang on a second, because blatantly we're going to be boosting this up with our Belo Betty leader skill anyway, so that's going to help out really rather nicely. Having trigger to play for free is a good thing. Speaking of which, we've also got the yellow Belo Betty from OP09, which has the exact same trigger. If the total of yours and your opponent's life is 5 or less, and this comes out as a trigger, you get to play this character for free, which is generally a pretty good thing, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, and on play, if you've got 2 or less life, draw a card. And sure, that's not always going to fire. Sometimes that's not going to work. But the fact is, this is going to work a decent amount of the time here. And then you've got yourself a character that comes into play for free, which is boostable by your leader. So, you know, you're not really talking about a 4K character here, you're talking about a 7K character. And seriously, when this deck works, you're going to be overwhelming your opponent with 7K characters. And then you also get to draw a card, which has always been one of the issues of Revolutionary Army. Not being able to draw enough cards. This isn't perfect, but it helps, ladies and gentlemen. It helps very, very much indeed. Now, we only have a couple copies, but we do have Morley as well while we're still talking about free costs. Free cost, 5,000 power. When attacking, if this character has 7,000 power or more, your opponent can activate blocker during this battle. So, boost it up with Belo Betty, make it an 8k character, and then your opponent can't use blocker. Maybe start whacking some Don on there, knowing that they physically can't counter, because they don't have enough cards in their hand, and force an attack through. Sounds good to me. And as a trigger, trash a card from your hand, and if your leader is multicolor, play this card. And obviously your leader is, so this is another one that you could well end up playing for free, and I personally think that's a very nice thing. Now, we're really not going high on the cost of many of these characters at all here. We've just seen a bunch of free cost. We've then got a bunch of 4-cost characters. Like the OP05 Lindbergh, for instance. 4-cost, 5,000 power, counter plus 1,000. When attacking, if this character has 7,000 power or more, KO a 3k or less. And again, your leader's going to make this happen. And as a trigger, trash a card from your hand, and if your leader is multicolor, play this card. Of course, you'll notice here that we've got your triggers that are making you trash cards to play characters. And you've got your leader skill, which is making you trash cards. This is what I mean about potentially getting a bit too low on cards here. This has always been an issue with the deck. But we've got power level here, and we got a bunch of good triggers, and we've got stuff like the Belo Betty gives you a little bit of draw here and there. And it's starting to look a bit like this is actually legit, which makes me very, very happy. Speaking of 4-cost characters, we've also got our Red Karasu here, the one from OP05. 4-cost, 5,000 power, counter plus 1,000. And we've got on play, if your leader is a Revolutionary Army type, give one of your opponent's leaders or characters -K for the turn. And then when attacking, if this character has 7,000 power or more, give one of your opponent's leader or character cards -1,000 power during this turn. You can make your opponent's leader have -1,000, so all of your attacks against the leader need 1,000 less to get through. That is extremely powerful. Do not sleep on how good this can be. We got the 4-cost Emporio Ivankov, also from OP05, like so many of these cards. 4-cost, 5,000 power, counter plus 1,000, and activate main once per turn if this character's got 7k or more. Play a Revolutionary Army with 5,000 power or less other than Emporio Ivankov from your hand. And you will notice that is the vast majority of this deck. Not all of them, but the vast majority of this deck can be played with this skill. That, ladies and gentlemen, is most definitely a win. And then we've got the new Bartholomew Kuma, the one from OP09. 4-cost, 5,000 power, counter plus 2k. Got a few 2k counter, that's important. And as a trigger, well, it's the one we've seen on the other yellow cards. If your leader's Revolutionary Army and the total of your opponent's life and yours is 5 or less, play this card. One of the big things that happened was OP09 giving us a bunch of Revolutionary Army cards. There are 3 in this deck that have this same trigger. That means you should be hitting 1 or 2 of these per game, getting extra characters out. That's a very, very, very big deal indeed. Now, in terms of 5-cost, we've got the other Emporio Ivankov. Yeah, that's right. 1 is not enough. We're talking about the 5-cost that came around in OP06. And we've got 5-cost, 6,000 power on play. Look at the top 3 cards of your deck. And play a Revolutionary Army card with 5k or less. And put the rest at the bottom of your deck in any order. We're playing 4 of each Emporio Ivankov. each of which can play an extra card. Now, the 4-cost plays from your hand, which is a bit annoying because, like I say, we might run out of cards occasionally. But this one plays from the deck, which is way more fun. And like I say, that there are a couple of cards in here you won't be able to play, but the vast majority you will, and that is an excellent, excellent thing. Now, the other 5-cost here is the one that might represent a bit of a problem. I talked about this with a Sabo deck the other day. It is the Promo Sabo. And look, you can play this deck without Promo Sabo. One Piece Top Decks has a list on their site of a winning list of this that doesn't play this Promo Sabo. I personally think the deck is much better with this Promo Sabo, and that's why I'm showing you the list with this one. If you're not playing this, you can up some counts of other cards. The one card that isn't played in this list, that is played in the list on One Piece Top Decks, is the 2-cost Bartholomew Coma from OPO5, which is a good card, but it's not the same. Now, what we've got here is a 5-cost, 5,000 power counter plus 2k, which you'll notice it's Revolutionary Army. It can be played for free with Emporio Ivankov. It can be buffed up with Belo Betty. It's got counter plus 2k, but also activate main once per turn, put the top or bottom of your life into your hand, and then this character gains 1,000 power for this turn. Well, with Belo Betty's skill, that makes it a 9k this turn. Plus, you get card advantage from activating the skill. Plus, I've shown you a bunch of, especially like the trigger, that activate when there's a certain amount of life in play for you and your opponent combined. This does so much in the deck, lowering your life when you need it, giving you card advantage, giving you a counter plus 2k, giving you potentially a 5-cost 9k body on the board. Make no mistake about it, this card is phenomenal in this deck. Yes, you can replace it and the deck still works, but I don't think you should. I do think this deck is much better with Sabo, and I'm telling you right now, I don't know how this is coming out in English yet, it's not been revealed. Get a playset of this card. It is a really good card. It could end up becoming dumb expensive. Get it when it comes out, so you've got access to it. And then the two bigger cards in the set, we got the 6-cost Koala. 6k annoyingly, so can't be played with Ivankov, but it does give you a blocker, so you know, that's quite cool. And on play, you can add the top or bottom of your life to your hand, and then play a 4-cost or less Revolutionary Army from your hand, and draw a card, which is huge, because you gain a card from your life, and then you don't -1 by playing a character, because you play and then you draw. So you end up overall +1, having played 2 characters for a 6-cost. It's a very good card. And then we got the big one with which we are finishing off here. We have got ourselves the Monkey the Dragon, which I love the alternate art by Akira Igawa, but I don't like Dragon as a character, so it's weird. I can't decide how I feel about this one. What I do know is this is a very good card that fits into this deck very, very nicely indeed. We got ourselves an 8-cost, 9,000 power with Rush, and on play give 2 Rested Dawn to your leader or one of your characters. Yes, obviously it is Revolutionary Army, and basically what we've got here is a 9k with Rush, but it's not really enough. You can make this pretty easily a 14k. On play, give 2 Rested Dawn to your leader or one of your characters, this, and then use Belo Betty to the 3k boost, and you're a 14k with Rush. You can see why we're playing it in this deck. Again, some of the lists I've seen don't play Monkey the Dragon, but I really think you should. I think this works. So there we go. Here's a list as a whole. I love this deck. When OPO 9 comes out, I'm going back to the Revolutionary Army, and I really hope this deck is as good as it looks. But I want to know what you think. I want to know if you think Revolutionary Army is going to be legit or whether you think it's going to be overblown. So let me know in the comment section. Go nuts! Be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWasi. That's where we talk about One Piece and a bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all kinds of fun things. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wossy Plays.